Want to learn something cool? Right now I'm building automated watering systems for our chicken tractors. Chicken tractors are what we use after we take the chicks out of our brooder and they're still young and not ready to go into the coops yet. So the chicken tractor is an enclosed space that keeps the chicks and juveniles chickens safe. They're enclosed so predators can't get at them, but they're still on pasture so they can be moved. The bottom is open so it's being moved constantly so that way they're always on fresh pasture. Previously we have used watering containers that you put on the ground and the chickens go around and drink out of it, but they tend to foul their water, they poop in it, and it ends up kind of becoming a mess. This is a way more clean way of doing it because they're going to be drinking out of a nipple system like this one. The water is all stored up above in a bucket and is going to be gravity fed down and then fill these, and then they can come and tap on these little nipples, and when they do, water will come out. The chicks are naturally curious. The red color, brings them in, and then they sort of learn to toggle these and that water comes out. So it's a really clean way to provide fresh water for your chicks and juvenile chickens. And it also saves space inside of the chicken tractor. When we're moving it, there's not a big container on the ground that they're needing to avoid, so they have more sort of square footage and room inside of their chicken tractor. It also makes it easier for filling the waterer because this is going to sit on top of the chicken tractor and have a lid on it so that no mosquitoes or other critters end up in it. But you can still easily take the lid off and fill it without having to get into the chicken tractor. It also makes it easy to move the chicken tractors. The way I'm setting mine up is on a square 5-gallon bucket. There's a union, so I've drilled a hole through the bucket, and then I have a union that I've clamped on through the hole with a gasket so that it can keep the water inside. I put a shutoff valve on this so that way whenever I'm ready to move the tractors, I can simply turn the water into the off position, unscrew the garden hose, and remove it. So the chicken nipple system is going to be mounted inside, and then between these two pieces I'm going to have a hose just a homemade hose on here that runs down through the garden hose and then it'll attach onto the other end. The other thing that you need to know when you're putting this together is that you'll need a tap. So basically after I've drilled the hole in the PVC, I just screw the tap through, and this puts threads into the PVC. Now I back it out and there's threads cut into the PVC.
By hole, he's drilling a pilot hole before he's tapping in.
That's what we started with. And then you can simply thread these on. So these nipples are threaded. We add Teflon tape to it so that way if there's any part where a leak might get through, the Teflon tape holds that. That one's not good.
Sometimes the nipples aren't good, of course, the first one. And it's really important when putting the tap in to make it perpendicular. If it's at all at an angle, then the threads won't work, which looks like might have been the case with that one. I'll have to see.
It just didn't go in far enough.
There's something you have to kind of play with. And this particular tap, if you look up chicken nipple tap, they'll pop up. I'm sorry, I don't know the exact size of it, but it is tapered, so it's going to make the holes bigger the further you put it in, so you have to kind of be careful with how deep you tap it.
There we go. And there's a small gasket, so you're just compressing the gasket, silicone gasket in there, and that's it. So the other pieces that we have on this are, on the end, there's obviously a cap that I've glued on, so that way, keeps the water into the tube. And then on this end, I just have another, there's a couple of pieces that go together. One is, I'm using a 1-inch PVC, like I did in the previous post. So it's a slip joint that's glued on, And then this has a 3/4 inch female thread. This has a 3/4 inch male thread that you screw in, and then there's a barb that you can attach your garden hose onto. And that's really all there is to it.